You know what nobody tells you about greatness? They don't tell you about the waiting. They don't tell you about the mornings you wake up and wonder if you're wasting your time. They don't tell you about watching everyone else get their moment while you're still grinding in silence. Nobody tells you that patience isn't just waiting. It's suffering while you wait. And before I was King James, before the championships, before the billions, before any of that, I was just a kid from Akron, Ohio who had to learn the hardest lesson of my life. That everything worth having requires you to master the one thing nobody wants to practice. Patience. Let me take you back. December 30th, 1984. I came into this world in Akron. My mother Gloria was 16 years old. 16. Think about that. Think about being 16 and having to raise a child. We moved 12 times in 3 years. 12 times. I went to different schools, slept on different couches, wore the same clothes over and over because that's all we had. There were nights my mom didn't know where our next meal was coming from. There were mornings I woke up not knowing where I'd sleep that night. And you want to know what I learned? I learned that when you have nothing, patience is all you have. You can't rush your way out of poverty. You can't force your way into a better life. You have to wait for your opportunity and be ready when it comes. But here's the thing that changed everything for me. When I was 9 years old, I met a man named Bruce Kelker. He was a football coach. He saw something in me. He saw that I was lost, that I needed structure, that I needed stability. He introduced me to his friend, a man named Frank Walker. And Frank Walker did something that nobody had ever done for me before. He gave me patience in the form of stability. He and his family took me in during my 4th grade year. For the first time in my life, I lived in the same house for more than a few months. I went to the same school for an entire year. I had a routine. I had structure. I had people who believed in me enough to invest their time. That's when I started playing organized basketball. And I was terrible. You hear that? LeBron James was terrible at basketball. I was clumsy. I was uncoordinated. I fouled out of games. I didn't understand plays. But Frank Walker taught me something. He said, "LeBron, everybody wants to be great tomorrow. But champions are willing to be terrible today, so they can be great years from now." Years from now. Not weeks. Not months. Years. That's patience. That's the real definition. Being willing to look stupid today, to struggle today, to fail today, because you believe in who you will become tomorrow. Most people can't do that. Most people need immediate results. They need instant gratification. They need to feel like they're winning right now. And that's exactly why most people never become great at anything. I practiced every single day. Every single day. Rain, snow, heat, didn't matter. I shot baskets until my arms were sore. I dribbled until my fingers bled. I ran drills until I couldn't feel my legs. And you know what happened? Nothing. For months, nothing happened. I was still awkward. Still making mistakes. Still the kid who didn't quite get it. But I kept showing up. That's what patience really is. It's not passive waiting. It's active persistence. It's showing up every day even when you're not seeing results. It's trusting the process when the process looks like it's broken. It's believing in yourself when you have no evidence that you should. By the time I got to 8th grade, something started to click. My body started to catch up to my height. My coordination improved. My basketball IQ grew. And suddenly, I wasn't terrible anymore. I was good. Then I was really good. Then coaches started noticing. Then scouts started coming to my games. Then my name started spreading around Akron. And that's when the real test of patience began. Because when you start getting attention, when you start hearing people say you're special, when you start believing you might actually make it, That's when impatience tries to destroy you. That's when you want to skip steps. That's when you want to rush the process. That's when you start thinking you're ready before you're actually ready. I got to St. Vincent St. Mary High School, and we were immediately good. Really good. We won the state championship my freshman year. And I started hearing whispers. NBA scouts at my high school games. Articles calling me the chosen one. Magazine covers. Everyone telling me I was going to be the next big thing. I was 15 years old. Now, most 15-year-olds hearing that would let it go to their head. They'd start coasting. They'd start thinking they'd already made it. They'd stop working as hard because they'd believe their talent was enough. And that's exactly what kills potential. That's exactly what turns "could have been great" into "whatever happened to that guy?" But I remembered something. I remembered those nights sleeping on couches. I remembered those days wondering where my next meal would come from. I remembered being terrible at basketball and working anyway. I remembered that patience isn't just about waiting for your moment. It's about continuing to prepare even when your moment seems guaranteed. So I worked harder. When everyone expected me to coast, I worked harder. When everyone would have understood if I took my foot off the gas, I pressed down harder. Junior year, we won another championship. Senior year, another one. 3 state championships. National recognition. Every game televised. Every move analyzed. And through it all, the biggest question, was I going to skip college and go straight to the NBA? This was the ultimate test of patience. I had the talent. Scouts confirmed it. I could have declared for the draft after my junior year if the rules allowed it. I was ready physically. But was I ready mentally? Was I ready emotionally? Was I ready for everything that came with being an NBA player at 18 years old? Here's what nobody tells you about patience. Sometimes it's not about waiting longer. Sometimes it's about making sure you're truly ready for what you've been waiting for. Because opportunity without preparation is just another word for failure. You can get everything you want and lose it all because you got it before you were ready to handle it. I decided to stay all 4 years of high school. Not because I had to. Because I chose to. I chose to develop. I chose to mature. I chose to learn. I chose to be patient with my own growth. And in 2003, I entered the NBA draft. Number 1 overall pick. Cleveland Cavaliers. Back to Ohio. Back home. And you know what happened? I struggled. Yeah, LeBron James struggled in the NBA. Rookie year, we won 35 games and missed the playoffs. Everyone expected me to transform the franchise overnight. Everyone expected immediate championships. Everyone expected me to be Michael Jordan from day one. And I wasn't. I was just a really talented 19-year-old who was learning how to play against men who had been in the league for 10, 15 years. The criticism started. He's not clutch. He can't win the big game. He'll never be a champion. He's not like Mike. Every game, every shot, every decision analyzed and criticized. And I had 2 choices. I could let impatience make me desperate. I could force things. I could try to do too much. I could let the pressure break me. Or I could be patient. Again. Still. Always. I chose patience. Year 2, 42 wins, still no playoffs. Year 3, 50 wins, finally made the playoffs, lost in the second round. Year 4, we made it all the way to the NBA Finals. The Finals. At 22 years old, I was playing for a championship. We got swept by the San Antonio Spurs. 4 games to 0. It wasn't even close. And the criticism got louder. He can't win when it matters. He disappears in big moments. He'll never be a champion. But here's what I learned about patience during those years. Patience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. Patience doesn't mean you don't hear the criticism. Patience doesn't mean you're not frustrated, angry, disappointed. Patience means you feel all of those things, and you keep working anyway. You keep believing anyway. You keep showing up anyway. 3 more years in Cleveland. 3 more years of playoff disappointments. 3 more years of getting close, but not close enough. And by 2010, I had a decision to make. I could stay in Cleveland and keep being patient, hoping we'd figure it out eventually. Or I could take my talents to Miami and join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, giving myself a better chance to win now. I chose Miami. And the world lost its mind. They called me a quitter. A traitor. They said I took the easy way out. They burned my jerseys in Cleveland. They wrote articles saying I'd never be respected even if I won championships. They said I didn't have the killer instinct to be the man on a championship team. First year in Miami? Lost in the finals. Again. To Dallas. And the criticism reached levels I'd never experienced. People celebrated my failure. They made jokes. They created memes. They said I proved them all right, that I couldn't win when it mattered. And in that moment, after losing in the finals again, after all the criticism, after all the hate, I had to dig deeper into patience than I ever had before. Because here's the secret about patience that nobody tells you. The closer you get to your goal, the harder patience becomes. When you're far away from success, it's easy to be patient. You tell yourself you're building, you're learning, you're developing. But when you're right there, when you can taste it, when you've been so close so many times and failed, that's when impatience whispers in your ear. That's when you start to wonder if it's ever going to happen. I went back to the gym. I worked on my post-game. My jump shot. My decision-making in clutch moments. My leadership. My mental toughness. Everything. And the next year, 2012, we won it all. Beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. I got my first championship. I cried. I literally cried because I understood what that championship represented. It represented 10 years of patience. 10 years of criticism. 10 years of doubt. 10 years of people telling me I couldn't do it. And 10 years of me showing up anyway. We won again in 2013. Back-to-back championships. I was finals MVP both times. I proved I could win. I proved I could be the man. I proved the patience paid off. But there was still something missing. Cleveland. Home. The place I left. The people I disappointed. The promise I made when I was drafted that I'd bring a championship to Northeast Ohio. So in 2014, I did something crazy. I went back to Cleveland. Back to the team that hadn't won anything since I left. Back to the city that burned my jerseys. Back to the fans who hated me. And I wrote a letter explaining why. I said I was coming home to finish what I started. To bring a championship to Cleveland. To make good on a promise I made as a 19-year-old kid. People thought I was insane. Cleveland hadn't won a championship in any major sport since 1964. 52 years. The Cavaliers had never won an NBA championship. Ever. And I was promising to change that? With patience running out? With my prime years ticking away? With the pressure of an entire city on my shoulders? Year 1 back in Cleveland, lost in the finals to Golden State. Again. Year 2, we faced Golden State again. They had just won 73 games in the regular season. The most in NBA history. They were up 3-1 in the finals. No team had ever come back from 3-1 down in the finals. Ever. We were done. Finished. The dream was dead. But patience taught me something in that moment. It taught me that the game isn't over until it's over. It taught me that impossible is just another word for hasn't been done yet. It taught me that all those years of waiting, all those years of working, all those years of failing and getting back up, they were preparing me for this exact moment. We won Game 5. We won Game 6. Game 7, in Oakland, in their building, in front of their fans, against the best regular season team in NBA history. Tied game, under 2 minutes left. Kyrie Irving hit a three-pointer to give us the lead. Then I made the play of my life. Blocked Andre Iguodala's layup. The block. The one they'll show forever. We won that game. We won the championship. I fell on the floor and cried like a baby. Because in that moment, 12 years of patience paid off. 12 years of criticism. 12 years of doubt. 12 years of people saying I couldn't do it. 12 years of patience finally delivered the one thing I wanted most. I brought a championship to Cleveland. I made good on my promise. I proved that patience, real patience, the kind that lasts through failure and criticism and doubt, that kind of patience always wins in the end. But my story didn't end there. I went to the Lakers. I won another championship in 2020. I became the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. But none of those accomplishments mean as much to me as the lesson I learned along the way. The lesson I'm trying to teach you right now. Patience isn't weakness. Patience isn't passive. Patience isn't just sitting around hoping things get better. Patience is strength. Patience is active. Patience is working every single day toward a goal that seems impossible, that seems too far away, that seems like it might never happen. And doing it anyway. You know what kills most people's dreams? It's not lack of talent. It's not bad luck. It's not timing. It's impatience. They give up too soon. They quit right before the breakthrough. They change direction every time something gets hard. They need immediate results, or they lose faith in the process. They compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, and convince themselves they'll never catch up. But greatness doesn't work that way. Greatness is built in the dark. In the early mornings when nobody's watching. In the late nights when you're too tired to continue, but you do anyway. In the moments when you have every reason to quit, and you find one reason to keep going. That's where greatness lives. In patience. I slept on couches as a kid. I was terrible at basketball when I started. I lost in the finals multiple times. I was criticized, doubted, hated, mocked. And I won anyway. Not because I was the most talented. Not because I had it easy. Not because I got lucky. But because I was patient. Because I trusted the process. Because I believed that if I kept working, kept improving, kept showing up, eventually my time would come. And it did. And yours will too. But only if you're willing to be patient. Only if you're willing to work when you're not seeing results. Only if you're willing to believe in yourself when nobody else does. Only if you're willing to wait for your moment and be ready when it arrives. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop trying to skip steps. Stop comparing your timeline to someone else's. Your journey is your journey. Your timeline is your timeline. What took me 12 years might take you 5. Or it might take you 20. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you commit to the journey. What matters is that you develop the patience to see it through. Because here's the truth. Everything worth having takes time. Building a business takes time. Building a skill takes time. Building a relationship takes time. Building a legacy takes time. There are no overnight successes. There are only years of work that nobody saw followed by sudden recognition that everybody sees. You want to know the real secret to my success? It's not my athleticism. It's not my basketball IQ. It's not my competitiveness. It's my patience. It's my willingness to suffer through the process. It's my ability to stay committed when I'm not seeing results. It's my faith that if I keep doing the right things, Eventually, the right things will happen. That's what I want you to take from this. That's what I want you to remember. Patience is power. Patience is preparation meeting opportunity. Patience is trusting that your work will pay off even when you can't see how. Patience is knowing that the universe rewards consistency over intensity. Patience is understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with your progress. Be patient with your dreams. They're coming. Everything you want is coming. But it's coming on its timeline, not yours. Your job isn't to rush it. Your job is to prepare for it. Your job is to work so hard that when your opportunity arrives, you're ready to seize it. I'm LeBron James. I'm a kid from Akron who learned that patience isn't just waiting. It's working while you wait. It's believing while you wait. It's preparing while you wait. And when you master patience, when you truly understand its power, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Nothing you can't achieve. Nothing you can't become. So be patient. Trust the process. Your time is coming.